we're just getting started a little bit late tonight, but I want to welcome everybody to the hashtag 405's show. I am your host, the OU Flag Guy, and it might be a solo show tonight. We'll see if Sean or anybody else wants to hop in tonight with us. So I want to thank everybody for joining in tonight. I hope everyone had a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Again, this could be a short show if we don't have anybody hop on with us or wanting chit chat. So feel free to throw. I don't know why this green screen stuff is not working tonight. If anything, just throw your questions and comments into the chat and we'll address them during the live stream, guys. So I hope everyone is doing very, very well. I had a couple topics I wanted to talk about tonight with you guys. So I know y'all are all wanting, obviously, the big question of the room tonight. What is my thoughts on the Red Power Ranger? No, I'm not going to get into that. That's not at all why I'm going to be live streaming tonight. I know Sean would crack a joke about that, but no, we are not going to discuss that. Well, we have a couple topics though, so why don't we get started? Let's kind of, to me, jump right in. OU softball did really, really well this weekend. They won their regional, and they're going on to the super regionals. The thing that really, really cracked me up was the final score with Texas A&M being 20-0. I kind of laughed, and I mean, I was poking the bear myself on it when the Twitter accounts from some of the Texas A&M people were saying, "Let's shock the world." I'm like, good luck, guys. Good luck. You have a very tired softball team. They are just exhausted, and to expect them to pull that against OU tomorrow, I highly doubt it. And it just showed they absolutely did not show up. They got blistered 20-0. They were, I think at one point, I want to say it was the first inning, they were up 10-0 with it. A&M was just, they were done. So OU moves on to the super regional. Again, that's hosted in the Norman area for that. And I don't know who their opponents are going to be. I think UCF is going to be one of them since they won their regional out there, but I don't know who the other two are going to be. So sorry, guys, I have no opinion on that one specifically. But yeah, the ladies are doing well. I think the only thing that we were all kind of searching on was the Jordy Ball situation for it, and I think she's still going to be held out until maybe some way through the super regional. I don't really know what's happening with her at this point with it, but other than that, girls did really, really well this weekend, and I expect them to kind of do the exact same thing. Oh well, thank you, Tyler. I appreciate it. Yes, it is OU versus UCF. Sure, I will go ahead and throw the link in for you guys. Since we don't have Sean in there, I'll throw the link in to let y'all hop in. Remember, guys, I definitely prefer that y'all have the a mic at least. You don't have to have a webcam for it. You just have to have a picture or anything for it. But definitely would prefer a mic for it just so we don't hear any background noises. And I appreciate both of y'all joining tonight. Tyler, we know it's OU versus UCF. I want to say it's best. You said it's best of 3. I guess I have my stuff mixed up because I was thinking it was going to be another one of those where it was other 3 teams and they just compete and move on. I guess I'm a little behind at this point with it. Too much Halo playing at this point. So I'll add Austin in here. Give me a second, Austin.
What's up?
Hey, buddy. How are you this evening?
Good. Kicking back, watching the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, who are you rooting for in the NBA right now?
I hate Golden State. I'm not fond of the Mavericks.
Yeah.
So,
well, who are you who are you expecting to make it to the finals?
Warriors and Celtics.
Who are you wanting to win between the Warriors and the Celtics?
Celtics.
How come?
I hate the Warriors. No, I can't see fair. You know this.
Yeah, that's fair. Now, I'm not a big basketball person. I try to pay attention to it, but I really just just the end.
I'll follow it when it gets to playoff time, but regular season is so predictable, it gets kind of boring.
Yeah. So I'll ask you the question. What did you think of the softball this weekend? OU winning and moving on to super regionals. Did they surprise you any? Was there anything that made you worried? What do you got for me?
No, because I see it time and time again. We saw it last year with Wichita State. We saw it this year with Texas A&M. Go on the clinic. They put up 20 runs, and I thought they were going to roll with the first that dominant. I'm being serious.
How do you think they're going to do next weekend then?
And UCF be tough. I think they'll pull it out.
Yeah. Do you think OU may be one of those where it's a 2-1 series versus a 3-0 series?
Maybe. The UCF, they win the American. It's not going to be a pushover.
Right. I mean, they're good. They're good.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, I don't expect them to run rule UCF. On the flip side, I also don't expect them to like sweep the series. I think it's going to be a 2-0.
I think they'll try to save Jordan Ball again next weekend
Mm-hmm.
and try fully make sure they fully go for the World Series.
Yeah, and that's my thoughts too. I think they're going to save Jordy till a little bit more. I don't know what the situation is with her. I know she's injured, but I think they're trying their best as they can to wait it out as long as they can.
Yeah. And that you have you forget the third string pitcher. I was this earlier. The third string pitcher. What pitcher of the year for Conference USA last season?
Yeah, I mean it's going to be a good matchup.
So now you're lacking depth at pitching. You have Coleman and the girl who won pitcher of the year in the Conference USA.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about pitching whatsoever. Without Jordan Boy, he's still pretty freaking deep at that position.
Yeah. What speaking of softball and the balls being thrown, what about baseball? What do you think of the series with OU against Texas Tech?
They won, right? 9-6.
Huh?
They won 9-6, right?
On the first day, on Saturday, they lost. I think it was 2-10.
But they should have. So did they share the Big 12 championship?
No, they lost. TCU won it.
All right.
So yeah, TCU won baseball. I think it's the second year in a row.
Are we at least qualified for regionals? Can we get made so close to winning the Big 12?
I want to say yes. I don't want to guarantee that, but I want to say yes. They did make it to regionals for it.
Anyway, so
no, actually, there we go. Actually, I just looked it up. OU and Oklahoma State are set for regionals. OU is the third seed for the Big 12 baseball tournament this weekend. Seeds were determined late Saturday after each team finished their regular season schedules. OSU will face Texas Tech, and then OU will face. If you give me a second, I can tell you who it is. We'll play number 6 West Virginia.
Yeah. Well, the tennis championship, I know we're in that.
Yeah. I mean, and it's unfortunate because if OU could have beaten Texas Tech, we would have won the Big 12 regular season. But still, it is what it is.
Even though it's disappointing that one day was the Big 12, it's still a big-ass turnaround what they've been the last couple of years.
Yeah, and it's something we've talked about on the show before too.
Skip Johnson's props. He's rebuilt that program back to be a Big 12 title contender in baseball.
Yeah, and that's something too that I even thought about because I was like, it's been a while since we've had a decent baseball team, and I know going into the SEC, we have to have a good baseball team. That is their bread and butter, and they love their baseball.
Dude, for every baseball team in the SEC makes it to tournament. It feels like it.
Yeah.
Last year you had Bama, Ole Miss, Tennessee, LSU, Vanderbilt, Mississippi State. I think the Final Four all SEC teams.
They had a lot, and that's going to be an expectation that OU has to at least make the tournament.
Yeah. By the way, turns out I was wrong about my Cody Jackson prediction.
What was it?
I was wrong about my Cody Jackson prediction.
What was your prediction? Because I don't remember your prediction.
I put in chat. I said to go to USC because I saw a picture of him partying in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm. Well, also people were also saying like, well, what's his face? Addison is going to Texas. No, he ain't, guys. Like he's going to USC. He's doing the exact same thing.
I had a good heart. Like he was posting pictures from Hollywood. He posted pictures of him at the stadium. Like, oh shit, here we go again. So
yeah, and it's one of those. It is what it is on it, and I wish him the best of luck. I mean, we're seeing just like the transfer portal taketh away, and it gave us General Booty a couple weeks ago. So I mean, we're getting set and everything for it.
Yeah, we're still a wide receiver depth.
Yes, Well, and that's good. We need wide receivers. We got that one guy from Pitt, and we needed him.
We had that wide receiver from Arizona State. He's pretty big too.
Yeah, I'm very excited that we got him. And I wonder if he's going to be a day one starter or impact player for it, or if he's going to be like second string.
I think he might be day one because who we got? It's Mims, Weiss, and Farouk, right?
Yep. And then we got our 2 transfers in, so that's a good solid core right there. Yeah. So I mean, I'm looking forward to it. And that to me, that kind of goes into my next topic. I was going to bring up anyway was what are we look like we're expecting from the Champ U BBQ with it? Because I have a list right here of all the recruits that are like really
I know. I talked to Jay. I believe Alex Cunningham is coming.
Alex Cunningham.
Yeah, my brother goes to high school with her, so he's.
Yeah, they haven't mentioned him yet because I have the big list with him. Is Cunningham a 2023 a player? 24. Okay, that may be why I haven't seen anything on him is because they're focused all on the 23 class. And I'm kind of curious on if there's any guys we can flip from it because looking at the list, we've got Anthony Hill. He's a hard Texas A&M prediction at this point, but we're looking and we may get that 5-star linebacker. Who knows? Wilkin Formby, right now it's like Ole Miss is in the lead, but then at like Alabama and Auburn, he's more warmer towards them than OU, but he is attending the barbecue. So maybe him talking to us is really getting some stuff. Caden Green, Oklahoma, he's very much looks like he's favoring Oklahoma, but it's also Michigan he's looking at. And then he's also has like Nebraska, LSU, and Missouri.
I know he's doing round trips right now.
Yeah.
No, it's Kirtland I was thinking about. Never mind. I was thinking somebody else.
You're thinking of Alex, you said?
Kirtland.
Oh, Peyton Kirtland.
Yeah, he's doing his round trips right now.
Yeah, he's right now going where he's very, very favored for Florida or Miami, but Michigan State, OU, and Alabama are like apparently still in the running for it. I'm curious if we could flip him. I'm very curious on it, but I'm wondering if Miami's going to obviously throw some NIL money if they're going to do something along those lines. I don't know. Then there's also Jackson Arnold, but he's already committed to OU. I think this is more of a formality visitation.
He did bring that teammate of his and committed Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Is he bringing that teammate of his that's committed Notre Dame, the safety?
That I am unsure of. Maybe on it. Again, I have the main list for it, but I don't know who they're all bringing and stuff because I think a lot of those details for that type of stuff for it. And I know people on the live stream like, this is what we're here for. I'm betting those details come out in the next week since in about 2 weeks is the barbecue. I'm about 2 weeks early on it, but we're starting to see those big commits from it because and at the end of the day, it's going to be a different thing than Riley had because Riley, to his credit, he went all out on it. We don't know what Venables' stuff is going to be.
Riley is still like the Flash. Like, hey, we're Hollywood. We have freaking sports cars on the field. And blah, blah, blah. Bruce not doing that crap. Bruce gonna sell family, culture, work hard, big NFL. He just sell he just sell blue collar ghost flag, blue collar mentality. So Riley's still on.
But do you think that? I guess if that's the case, do you think he's going to have all the bells and whistles? Because I felt like with Riley when we had the Champ U barbecue, it was all about the stuff and the bling. With Venables, we can tap all that recruiting base with that would be to me a little more excited to be there.
I think he can sell it. He won't sell it basically like the Flash where he'll say, "Hey, we're Oklahoma. We've been with the best program since 1999. I have a losing record since 1998. I have 2 championships, and for defense, I put." Dudes upon dudes upon dudes in the NFL.
Yeah. Well, and that's something to keep in mind.
For linebacker, you say, hey, Colin Farrell wasn't even put in first round pick before I got him.
Exactly.
I got him. He went 4th overall.
Yeah. And I feel like it's kind of the same thing. I agree with you. It's going to be more family focused,
Yeah.
but I'm curious on how that's going to look. Like, obviously, it's going to be at the stadium a little bit. They're going to probably go to somebody's house, probably Venables' house, maybe whatever it is. I'm curious how he's going to sell it. Now, that's also the flip side of it. And I tried finding notes from it, and I guess I wasn't searching the right stuff. Has OU actually benefited from the Champ U barbecues for where we've picked up guys that we didn't think before where we were waiting for guys to flip? That's actually something I don't think we have.
My question is that in the past in Champ U, yeah, we got commitments, but a lot of those commitments under Riley lined up either flipping or decommitting at the last second.
Correct.
Later on the road. Later in 2019, we had DeLuise, A. Henderson, Trayon Bridges, and who the last? Drew Sanders all committed after champion. But
were they just a question to that, but were they committed before or were they still on the fence with it, or did we flip them?
I think they were committed after the champion.
Gotcha. So they were already favoring OU anyway, but that convinced them to solidly commit at that point.
Yeah, but our point is that 3 months later down the road around signing day, two of the 4 decommitted.
Yeah.
My question is, yeah, you can get the commit, but can you sustain that commit? Can Riley struggle with that at the last second a lot of times?
Yes, he did. And that was my thought of I feel like the Champ U barbecue, it's a great idea in theory, but it never really panned out for what we intended it to be of. Could we use it to flip somebody? Because at the end of the day, and I'm just going to use them as the example for it, with Texas A&M, for example, using their NIL money with their boosters, that's a lot more enticing to a kid than a barbecue. The barbecue is a free trip with it, but I mean, they'd rather go to the big game for it, but it's still a big recruiting thing, which ties into what's July 4th going to look like this year. Is that still going to be a big OU thing, or is that going to be more of that was what Riley did and we're kind of moving on from that? I'm more curious about that too. We're reaching that point now in that off season where I'm curious to see what Venables is going to do, and we can compare here in a year of did it work out. But I agree with you. I think it's more can Venables keep the guys that he already has right now, because Venables' mentality is if you're not committed, you're open to options. But once you commit, you need to close up.
I want to clarify that. He doesn't take a scholarship, but he's an outlier not committed. So that look good. As a coach, still has the scholarship, but they're treating it as a decommitment. So I want to clarify. I think that no, he still has the scholarship. There's acting like he's decommitment.
Yeah, right. I was trying to think anything else on that one, but yeah, there's some of the other recruits too that I'm curious on if we were targeting them for it. But we got to Jackson Arnold, Peyton Kirkland, Jalen Kilgore. Right now, he's favoring South Carolina, but to me, that's one of the big ones, like Anthony Evans, that they're going to be targeting, because 22 other schools have been very interested in him. Same thing with Anthony Evans, that wide receiver, who's I'm guessing with 28 schools interested in him, he's going to get a bump up a star, at least be a 4-star at this point with it. That's my immediate thing, but maybe I'm wrong on it. And then, of course, there is Logan Howard. He's a 3-star offensive tackle. It's going to be between Iowa, Miami, Michigan, OU, but he has not really had any favorites come out in the lead, so this is just OU's opportunity for that. We also got, Logan, I think I said Logan Howland. Yeah. I'm probably butchering this name. It's Jaquiz Petaway. He's a 4-star, and it looks like he has not favored anyone as well.
Is he or is he what position?
He's a wide receiver. Yeah.
I know you're right.
Yeah, and then he's right now favoring OU, LSU, Ohio State, and Texas right now. Phil Picchiotti. I'm probably butchering that name, and I do not mean to.
Linebacker, what are you talking about?
Yeah, 3-star linebacker. Yep.
Yeah, 24, right? It wasn't 23.
23. These are all 23 that I'm mentioning that they were keeping our eyes on for the Champ U.
He got size. He got decent size.
Yeah, and that he's being favored too by Auburn, Michigan, Nebraska for it. That was kind of my immediate thing with a lot of the guys we're looking at are Texas is favoring too, so maybe there's some tie-ins or something like that. Ruben Bain, a 4-star D lineman out of Miami. It apparently looks like I think he's going to visit, but I really don't expect him to commit. Now, that would be a big flip because he's a 4-star D lineman, but it's like very much Miami right now. There is no other school that's even close. I hope he's just exploring his options, but who knows? The other one that is the favorite, though, is Jacoby Johnson, 4-star out of, and he is favorite OU. There is not even any other school really in the running.
The two-way athlete?
Yeah.
I think he'll win because, like, I think with Porter Moser and Brent Venables on his ass, he'll wind that career.
Yeah.
Because they're both in his ear.
Yeah.
And I love Porter. Porter needs a win in recruiting right now.
Yeah. Porter is just, we talk about NIL being bad for football. Goodness, stuff is just basketball.
It's really worse than basketball. But I told my uncle this, who works for Memphis, like, look, all the former players are now coaches, the Juwan Howards, the Pay Hardaways, the Aiden Patrick, they still got NBA big money.
Yeah.
They didn't use that crap.
Yeah. Again, it's crazy. Like, I've always said, I hate the one and done in basketball, and it's even worse now with it's like you gotta set some limits for them, guys. Like, because that just hurts the schools. And right now with Porter, it's like, how can you judge Porter with it outside of?
Well, I say it for one and done. Go back to the rule you had before all this crap happens.
Yeah.
Any high school kid that's talented enough to go NBA, let's go to college. But the college kids who want to go to college, go to college.
Yeah.
And also,
is there? Yeah. Oh, I was just gonna say, is there any other offers that you're aware of that are coming to the Champ U BBQ?
Not so I heard.
Yeah, I mean, we'll know here in 2 weeks how it went.
Is David Stone coming?
Who?
David Stone.
David Stone, you said?
Yeah.
Remember
where Oklahoma 24, he pitched at ING last year?
I'm unsure because everything that I have gathered from is from the 23 class. I have not seen anything for 24 right now. They might be, but they may not be the focus and they may not be reporting on them right now. So I don't know. I wish I did. I'm trying to see if there was any other offers or anything, but it appears like we've got some of the big ones and stuff right now. I think their big target for sure is going to be Anthony Hill. He's got, I think, because I seen some, and I had him as, he's the 5-star that I think they are really going to be circling around as well.
Big job. I want big job.
Why so?
Is Big Job go visit?
Baden Job?
The big 6'4" defensive lineman out of Oklahoma.
What's his last name?
Job. J-O-B-E.
Nope, I do not see him on my list for it. So unless he hasn't confirmed or anything yet. Now that's kind of the flip side of it. Something we need to keep in mind is we're still 2 weeks out from this. They're playing logistic stuff, sure, but it's May 22nd right now. We have softball, the Masters, baseball going on right now for it. We're
Not
still
PGA.
Yeah. My bad.
There
is a difference because everybody watches I had some friends actually go to the PGA this weekend in Tulsa.
I have my 4 basketball girls who were there.
Nice. I had some old classmates that went. One guy.
I was in Tulsa last week.
Nice. Did you enjoy your trip to Tulsa?
I would. I did. I saw a lot of family. Saw my old camp. My high school wouldn't let me in.
Yeah, probably because of safety reasons, just in general for it. Like I tried visiting my old high school just a couple of years back just to say hi to some principals.
I called my basketball coach today. Hey, I'm coming from Georgia. I'm coming to visit.
Yeah.
I come in. Yeah, sure. I come. I said, can I tell you? Okay, I'm coming at my lunchtime. Nobody's in class. So I come around 12. I really like to open the door. Door's locked. Like the lady goes, "Sure, what do you need? I'm here to visit. Randomly called me. Video hours at 3:00. But I went to school here."
Well,
It
gotta
don't
wait
matter.
till then.
It should.
Yeah.
I'm alumni. It don't matter. It should.
That's why I avoid some of my old stuff. So, but yeah, if we hear anything else, I'll definitely bring it up. But I mean, at this point, like we don't have any extra info really on Champ U. I think they're just finalized. We'll start getting some of those details and stuff as people commit. Because again, we have probably, I would say, one more week before we have a hard look at what everything's going on, Champ U wise. But I am curious.
And then we learned this from Brent that coach recruiting. Gotta be more patient. Brent's gonna play the long game. He's gonna wait until the big time guys commit in December or February.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be like Lincoln Riley. We have like 15 or in more 15 commits by the start of August.
Yeah. Now, and that's something to think about too. Is I mentioned it a little bit before, but I am going to be curious on with Riley. He definitely showcased Sooners, and he showcased the facilities. He showcased the team. I'm curious if Venables is going to use this as this isn't a showcase. This is a commitment. Like I'm bringing you on to try to get you to commit, not necessarily what Riley did. I know, yeah, that was it, but it never appeared, I guess, the best way to put it that way. So we'll see. Now, that being said, with it, if we're talking about recruiting and we're talking about Champ U BBQ,
are we into the Jimbo Nick Saban shit?
Absolutely, because for everyone who's watching,
let's get one thing clear: they're both cheating assholes. Let's see what they got away.
Yeah. So for people who don't know, to recap very, very briefly on it, Nick Saban made comments about how basically he doesn't like NIL. And he basically said, well, at least our team didn't pay for it like some people's teams, Texas A&M. And then Jimbo Fisher went off on Nick Saban like, bro, you are a lying piece of crap, essentially. You're paying players and stuff too. Y'all aren't these little innocent, God-chosen children too. And then they just had a dispute probably for a good 5 or 6 hours before the Nick Saban kind of tapped out on it because it's like, I have better things to do. Now, that being said, I was cracking up when it was like,
me too.
When the Texas A&M's AD went to the SEC's like commissioner and to get Bama in trouble, and they both went, no, you're both in trouble. I was getting old PTSD flashbacks from when I was a kid where it's like, no, you're both in trouble. But Mom, why am I in trouble? Because you're both in trouble. Just it was dumb. It was wonderful, but it was so dumb.
Jimbo kind of told her, so he said, look at Nick Saban's family. He can have, hold up. Were you assistant for Nick Saban for like 10 years? So what you
He was. He was, but my assumption was, though, he never got along with Nick, though. Like, he did his job, but that was kind of it.
They were OC who did. Like, Kiffin didn't get along with it. OC Tarkasian didn't get along with it.
There's so many. I mean, with all due respect to Nick Saban, that's just how good of a coach he is. Like, as much as Jimbo Fisher can bitch, moan, gripe about it, Nick Saban is the greatest college football coach. His 7 national titles say so.
I'll laugh at these Steve Spurrier's comments on it.
I did not.
He said, well, where's the lie? For Nick Saban, he's like, well, where's the lie?
Yeah. It's like...
You didn't pay all your... First of all, Nick's right. Jimbo, just shut up. You make you pay all your fucking recruits. Like, they're not for anybody.
Well, that's the thing I was cracking up on. There was a guy on Twitter. He parodies the coaches, and he does the voices really well. It's like, Jimbo or Saban, we all know they ain't going to Alabama for the beach property. And he's like, they are if I tell them they are. Like, yeah, like they're going because all Nick Saban has to do is go, I got the rings. And that's a sell. You can't blame him. Like, that's how good he is.
But I'll listen to Sean talk this. Do you think that he's 70 years old now, and being a hard-headed recruit, keep it on top? Can you see him stepping down in a couple of years? I don't know, join ESPN or Fox or be an analyst or step away? Because it's going to get harder now with all these other schools who have more money to recruit with them.
Okay, so I'm going to answer this in two ways because the first off is half of this is just Nick Saban bitching and moaning. He did the same thing years ago when the spread offense with like Johnny Manziel and he got lit up. I don't like this anymore. I think it needs to be fair. This is just him bitching and moaning for it, and he just doesn't want to adjust to it. I mean, to be fair, Bob didn't want to do NIL. He was done with recruiting. Bob got done with recruiting like by 2010, but we don't talk about that. But Bob was the same way on it. They didn't want to adjust. Now, to answer your second question, to me, it's not going to be something where Nick Saban just quits or something like that. Like we've seen a lot of the basketball coaches have done like 2 weeks ago on it, where it was like 4 or 5 of them just quit. They're done with it because of NIL. I think it's going to take him where it's not even the fun anymore. It's where he loses his drive for it. And I think that will come when he's about 80. I expect Nick another 10 years before he's finally done with college football for it. So to me, that's where I think it's headed now. I don't know. I don't know if that's what he has. Maybe he wants to retire in 4 years. Maybe he wants to retire in 5. Who knows? It ain't his pay or anything like that. And I think it's when the fun is finally gone for him. And it's just, it is what it is for it. He ain't going to answer the boosters. Now, that's another thing to consider too, is the boosters. He ain't going to do that. So who knows? My guess is 10 years. I think he does. Bob knew when to quit when he wanted to, and he wanted to leave on his own terms. I don't know about that with Nick Saban for it. I think it's going to be a drive thing where he just doesn't have the drive for it anymore to do this day in and day out from it. I think if there's some rules in place that help the coaches out at this point, such as like the transfer window, if it's actually done for like, I think I've seen some stuff bounced around like 5 to 6 weeks or whatever it was for it. No, it wouldn't be 5. Whatever short amount of time, it was like 3 months for it. I do think that will help him to stay, but if not, I could see it a little bit earlier. But it's going to be still, at least to me, a decade minimum before he calls it good.
I can see it, like, you know, ESPN, recourses getting old, they let him go, they bring in Nick Saban, completely Corso.
Yeah. How long do you think Nick Saban has left?
6 years, 6 or 7. I think it would come on time before he retires.
I know. Yeah, he wants to definitely win one before he retires. That is definitely a certainty. Yeah. I will definitely say that. I think he wants to do kind of the Peyton Manning thing of end it on the best note ever for it and call it a day.
He can do it this year.
Yeah.
By the way,
really fast, Tyler. I'm reading comments and stuff. Tyler, where did you see that at? Baker, he said that Ashton Cozart has flipped to Oregon from OU. Like, where did you see that from? That is some big info. Was it just announced? No, Tyler in the comments did. He said 4-star wide receiver Ashton Cozart has flipped to Oregon from OU. So I'm curious if that was in the works for it. Is that was something we were looking for? Did we know about it? I'm curious on that. So
he's favorite.
So yeah, definitely whatever it is, I'll say it on Livestream. But thanks for bringing that info up with it. I wish I had multiple screens. That was rando screen. It didn't come up for it.
Right here.
Gotcha. I'll have to take a look then after the stream at this point.
I'm not worried about it. I know he's good, but I know who's the 3-star wide receiver when we have so much.
I wonder. Well, I mean, as we said, Ashton. I'm going to look up his stuff right now and see like who was trying to recruit him versus Oregon. Or there may be some money involved with it.
Oregon got full night money. There was some money involved.
Yeah, they got 4-star. Yeah, but they were already saying like, he's a hard commit for the Oregon. They were leaning on him hard with Oregon for a while with it. And he visited about 2 days ago. So that's a loss for it. I wonder if it was expected though. I want to bring up another comment too. John brought it up with him about NIL as an indictment to or inducement to recruit players. A&M, Texas, O-line, Caleb Williams. I agree with that because I've said it. I have been very much vocal about it, and I know it's not going to change.
Here's the deal.
Yeah.
If NCAA put in rules, could they allow it for a year and a half? Guess what? 38 lawsuits on top of lawsuits on top of lawsuits from every school.
I think it would vary because I thought about that a little bit. Now, up front, and I think, Austin, I think you know my opinion on it. Sean definitely knows. I am not a fan of NIL to an extent. I've said personally, I believe
You still gonna pay for playing. That's the bottom line.
I think they're properly compensated for it. But again, I also know there's other aspects to it, and I can't argue that. No different than has OU been playing players since the 70s? Probably. Like, not even on probably, yes. But if we're talking the here and now with it, like, do I have a problem if them doing autographs? No. Let them do a commercial. I don't like how it's like we're just going to give you a blank check to come. That's free agency.
Hell,
I don't like that.
I read that Arkansas offered Arch Bay like $2.5 million to come.
Yeah, and to me that's ridiculous. That should not even be on the table at that point. Yeah. Yeah, and to me that shouldn't even be entertained. To me that defeats the purpose of the competitive advantage. That's why a lot of these schools, and I mentioned to Sean, where if it goes to lawsuits with an NIL with these smaller school, I say smaller schools, Power 5 schools, against the Blue Bloods are going to lose against the Pittsburghs, against the Tennessees. They're going to limit it, and it's not going to be good. It's not going to benefit the sport at that point. And we don't want Congress deciding that. That being said, you got to regulate, because if the NFL has figured it out, surely college football can figure it out. Surely. There has to be a way for it. I don't know what. The floodgates are open, and it sucks.
Going back to basketball, now that it's legal, how the fuck you a part of the FBI investigation in basketball?
What do you mean?
Remember back in 2015, there was that big FBI investigation to college basketball?
Oh, you know, the one that they, like, Missouri self-reported and got on probation even harder than everybody else?
The one they caught Rick Pitino doing prostitution, Bill Self, Bruce Pearl using Nike, and Coach K using Nike to, to follow money in players' bank accounts and whatnot.
I think the issue is that the NIL is hard, and it's difficult for it because on one hand, it's like the schools shouldn't make money on it, but at the same time, we know there's a lot of dirty stuff going on. It's just at the front. I mean, that's just what we all have to admit for it. And it's the thing that Sean said on it, where it's like you turn the lights on, it's the cockroaches, and they would scatter. They go around. It's hey, turn out the light. It's blinding us from whatever. So they're not scattering. It's very much out in the open now. We'll have to see how this goes. There's stuff where it's like they're trying to introduce where like coaches are in the fall. I'm like, good luck with that. Like, I like the idea of holding the coaches accountable, at least if it's like they can't leave, because that was the entire point of the NIL was how can a coach leave a player at that point? I agree with that. And that's where I'm like, even with my own opinion, how can I say that when a coach can just get up and leave? I can't.
It happened twice this year with 2 Blue Bloods.
Yeah, and it left the players. Now, the players should be able to think. I think some of it, too, is a combination of transfer portal and the NIL. I think my personal opinion, and I don't think I've ever discussed it, and maybe it's been very briefly, in my opinion with the transfer portal, it should be graduate students should have a free transfer. They fulfilled their end of the contract. They graduated.
Yeah,
more power to them. They should be able to go wherever they want to for it. There should be obviously a built-in emergency clause. So like if there's a guy, he wants to go home because like his parents got cancer and he wants to play closer to home, more power to you. That should be absolutely eligible. It also should be too, if you want to go down a division. So like from D1 to like D1 AA, you should absolutely be able to do that. Start immediately. More power to you for that. Everything else to me, that shouldn't be an option for you. You have to sit out a year. And I would even go as far to say like for like, there was another one part of it, but they need to work on the transfer. As it is right now, it's free agency and you can't have it. That's hurting the sport, and it's hurting the people watching.
Put a shelf time for the transfer portal. Like, from this point on to before season starts, you can transfer. Well,
correct.
This part of the season to this part of the season, you can't transfer. Or at least we did.
Correct. I would even go as I would even, and this was the one I remembered, Austin. I would go as far to say that freshmen are not eligible to transfer out of the first year. They have to play through their sophomore year for it, or they use it. If you want an immediate transfer, the immediate play, you lose a year of eligibility. There has to be a tie-in for that. And again, I understand there are situations that are just out of control. Like, for example, that are beyond their control. Like I mentioned, the parent situation for it. They should be able to go home, take care of their parents for it, or be there because you never know what's going to happen for that.
Yeah.
But I also say, too, like NIL, I think they're properly compensated. But then again, a lot of that can change to benefit the player as it was versus what it was before. So here's an idea I have with it. And I think this is a great idea. We all know that they take degrees that aren't really beneficial. Like they take those classes with it, like the underwater basket weaving 101. Like, yeah, it fulfills a credit, but it's just for their eligibility.
Like fucking communication, music, fucking degrees.
Yeah, it's stuff that's easy credit, stuff that's not hard to do. Now, that being said, I always say instead of that, then why don't we just, and maybe the universities don't want to do this because then that's admitting that they're training them for entertainment purposes. Why not just make a college of athletics where they actually go for a degree that's like, okay, you're going to be a professional player, but what about all the other options? Why not learn how to be a professional trainer or a dietitian? Why not learn sports broadcasting? Why not learn communications? Why not learn small business? Like in Oklahoma, like Billy Sims, food, small business stuff that you can build up. To me, that is more beneficial to the player, unless they want to pursue a true degree. Well, I say a true degree, but a more traditional degree like poli-sci, medicine, bachelor of art, whatever. Just go down the laundry list for it. I think that would benefit them much more, and you wouldn't have nearly as many players complaining then at that point of they didn't get nearly as much time for it. And to me, that is while I say this, there is always room to improve in every which direction. No different than here's another example for you, Austin. I've always said, and I know about it, and you probably do too, that they get free clothes. But then some of it where they're like, when they're walking to the stadium and they have like the Nikes on, that's just rental. They don't get to keep those. They have to hand those back almost immediately. So it's like, yeah, they get clothes, but at the same time, it's not nearly as expensive. Just let them keep it. Or give them a stipend for that. To me, that can easily change. The one I always say too is like food. That's an easily change too with it. And I know they harp on it because they have that down to an art of how much they need to eat to keep weight, how it is for each certain player, what it's going to do. But it's stressful for the dietitians.
Yeah.
There has to be a way to solve it that everybody can win from it. Because at the end of the day, I said the same thing. And I know people go insane when I keep mentioning it, but you don't want to go to direction once it's that cliff that goes off and you lose the audience's attention. Now, that being said, to be fair, football is like the male version of the Kim Kardashians at this point because there's so much drama that's never, ever ends. Let's be honest, it never ends, even in the off season. But like the Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher, it never ends. It never ends. Speaking of that, have you seen some of the jokes and stuff that have come from the Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher stuff? Because I think those have been absolutely hysterical. Where they're like, "Wow, this is really going to charge A&M up, guys, for to go 8-4 in the season and face their opponent Duke Mayo's Bowl." And I was just cracking up. I'm like, these are great jokes because all they said is that's big talk from an 8-5 team there, Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah.
I was laughing. Have you seen any of those?
I saw some.
Now, I will say, with all this conflict, because I don't think it's done. I think it's more of the SEC told them, chill out, guys. I cannot wait for that October 8th game. That's going to be fantastic.
Oh, dude, SEC media, you're going to bring this shit up every fucking show.
Paul's going
to bring it up. Freaking Maury and Matt will bring it up. It's going to be SEC media, you're going to be awesome.
I personally think that they should sit them next to each other for like when they have coaches and stuff.
Dude, yes.
I laugh because when I brought it up to my coworker, I'm like, all right, guys, fight night, one night only. Jimbo Fisher versus Nick Saban, 10 rounds, 30-second rounds with tap out, blah, 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 things like that. I forgot some of my joke with it. But my coworker was like, would you really pay low to see like two 60-year-old dudes just like duke it out? I'm like, absolutely in this instance, because anything goes. I can see Nick Saban like trying to play clean, and all of a sudden, oh, it's Jimbo Fisher with the steel chair. Like, I could absolutely see that. But I'm just cracking up and just cracking jokes with it. But speaking of that, that's actually another topic I wanted to talk about too, was kickoff times. So we know for a fact that OU Texas was picked up by ABC. We know that's going to be the second year for a row.
Probably Kurt Herbstreit again.
Probably. And it's probably going to be a 11 a.m. kickoff. Like, people need to accept that. That's just how it is. Unless for some miracle Texas is good, it's going to be an 11 a.m. kickoff. Now, that being said, I did want to address this because
Texas had the quarterback Messiah.
I know, right? I mean, obviously, they're going to be undefeated by the time. Now, that'd be great for us.
There'll be New York Yankees in football and buy every player.
I know, right?
They have 44 picks on their teams, according to Longhorn podcast.
It's so well, and that's where I was going to. Was what cracked me up was when everything came up. It was like, I think Fox had the first pick with the lottery for the first weekend, and we knew what was going to happen, that they were going to pick Alabama and Texas, and they were not convinced that was going to happen. Guys, it's coming, and it's going to be picked, and then it's picked up. Oh, it's not going to be 11 a.m., bro. It's going to be a big noon kickoff, and y'all better accept that. But Austin, think of it being in the South right now on September 10th at 11 a.m. on AstroTurf, or on the fake turf. Like, think of the players. I'm like, yeah, we use that argument against Nebraska, and they still put us at 11 a.m. That's why we're leaving this stupid conference. They ain't changing it, no matter even with their cute little protests. Protests. Yeah,
those gonna suck. And when Joe Klatt and Gus Johnson called a USC game this year.
Oh gosh.
And then I have fucking Callie Cowherd.
Yeah.
Doing the pregame show. It's gonna be fucking horrible. I love Joe Klatt. I think he's the best analyst in the country. I really do. But his takes on USC this year is the most mind-boggling shit I ever heard.
He's a fan. He is. It's not even hiding it. Like, he is a fan of USC, and it's just, the problem is he can't take him.
ESPN put them in their top 4 yesterday.
Yeah, and it's, guys, they ain't gonna win a natty or get to that Pac-12 championship. Like, they still have Oregon and Utah.
I said this: unless Lincoln Riley changed, first up, I heard Coward say Riley team physical. I laughed my ass off because that's the last thing Riley was at Oklahoma.
Yeah, rush 3, drop 8. Which it reminded me, there was a funny one there. I think it was some random Twitter account, but it was just like, who can stop what do you think of this team? And it showed like Riley with Caleb, Mario, and Addison. It's like, how would you stop these guys? And every OU person in the comments was like, rush 3, drop 8. That's all you gotta do. Rush 3, drop 8.
Look at Dave Miranda, Brent Robles, Aaron Curry Smart in the second half of Oklahoma, Georgia.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Kirby Smart, by the way. On the really backtrack on the Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher, the thing that cracked me up was you've got them both bickering throughout the entire day. Both of them calling up, and I hung up on Nick Saban. Well, that's okay. But then you got, like, I wonder what Lane Kiffin is thinking. And he's like, for the first time in my life, I'm speechless. And we're like, that is a smart man right there. He's like, nope, staying out of it. Nope. Nope.
He started retweeting outtake videos and Barstool Sports videos.
Just cracked me up. And then it's like, what's Kirby Smart thinking? Kirby's like doing the Homer Simpson, just slowly backing into the bush. Like, nope, I'm going to go hug my national championship. Nope, not even going to deal with this.
Well, back to USC. Unless Lincoln Riley changed his philosophy on defense, they'll never surpass Georgia, Bama, or Ohio State in Texas A&M.
Correct. He
has.
I've always been the belief, and I think it was Bob who said it. I want to say it was Bob. Maybe it was Bill Snyder. It was somebody in the Big 12 at the time. Whatever their theory was, I like that they said, whatever side of the ball you are good at, you need to get a coordinator who can not only challenge your thinking, but be better than you can with it, because then they challenge your schemes at that point. I like that thinking. I've always held that. Now, I forgot who it was. I want to say it was Bob, but he was like, I know defense. I don't know offense. He got someone who could. And it was like in his book where it was like, he got who it was. It was Mike Leach. He's like, Mike Leach was weird.
Yeah, I read that book.
Yeah, it's a great book.
I'm in the middle of chapter 4, so it's a great read.
Yes, anybody who has not read it, I highly recommend Bob's book.
Bro, Bob was a crazy motherfucker playing college football.
Why do you say that?
He had a fucking cast on his fucking leg and hand at the same fucking time playing football in Iowa.
Yeah. Well, and as he said, he wanted to play because he didn't know if it was going to be like season-ending surgery, especially when they were surging at Iowa at that time. It's like, no, I don't want to do that. Now, I will say, with Bob's book, obviously it's shadow written from it. Someone got the notes from it and did that. Now, that being said, I enjoyed the book, but it definitely became more paint by numbers when he got to like after the first year of Oklahoma. It became more of a season recap versus more of the highlights like of his life at that point. So like I really enjoyed the parts when talking about when he was a kid in Youngstown. I really enjoyed talking about like his recruitment with Iowa.
I love learning about his dad.
Yeah. That was stuff I loved. Absolutely. Now,
that staff at Iowa, looking back on it, Haynes Fry, Bill Snyder, and Barry Alvarez.
Yeah.
They're like 8 head coaches on that damn staff.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I said I enjoyed the Kansas State stuff a whole lot, where it's like and I've said this before, and I believe it. Bob, and again, I'm just using Bob, Bill Snyder, everybody in that, Mike Stoops, to his credit, Invincibles, to their credit, they brought them and they got down and dirty to get Kansas State good again. I don't believe Riley would do that. I think he would take the easy route for it, or he would give up.
Yes.
And that's not me being mean on it. There's definitely a different mentality with that. And you kind of see that. And we know that based on reports.
Why do you play with Bob saying they'll have a corner to challenge your best assets?
Yeah.
Do you think Alex Grinch really does challenge Riley's thinking? I don't.
Do you think
Alex Grinch fit that philosophy of challenging Riley's offensive mind?
I don't know. He definitely brought Riley in to reinvigorate the offense at the time for it. So I don't know that answer. My guess would be no. That he let kind of Riley, we were stale, and he let Riley do kind of what he wanted. And remember, the air raid to me, and I've always had this theory.
I mean, are you talking about Bob or Alex Grinch?
Huh?
Are you talking about Alex Grinch or Bob?
I'm talking Bob. First. I do have for Grinch, no. I absolutely believe he brought Grinch in more of like you're running the defense, but he didn't necessarily bring in the right person. But then again, I've always said that, and I know I've said that a lot tonight. I never had a problem with the Grinch schemes, but it was the execution. And I think there was stuff that it never panned out for whatever reason for it. If it was player commitment.
Grinch's scheme is built on turnovers. It wasn't built to get stops.
That too.
So if they get the ball, but you just teach you just grab the ball. You weren't teaching them the fundamentals, when your hands are blocking a pass. Or basic shit. They weren't being taught that. They were just told, hey, see ball, take ball, and that's about it. They weren't taught the basic fundamentals.
Correct. Well, and I'll add in too, where it's like, with Riley stuff, the reason I don't think Bob challenged him on it is because he brought the air raid with him. And let's be honest, the air raid is a good Band-Aid, but it's not the long-term investment solution.
Yes.
It gets figured out in about a year and a half, 2 years, and we saw that.
I told our friends this. Every offensive mind outside Steve Spurrier, every offensive mind get figured out at some point. Chip Kelly got figured out.
Barry Switzer got figured out.
Barry Fisher. No, Dan Moley got figured out. Riley got figured out. USD Spurrier got figured out later in his career.
Yeah, it happens. That's what football is.
We reached that point with Lincoln Riley. They were ready to figure out Lincoln Riley.
Oh, absolutely. And that's Yeah, well, and I think some of that too is I think we're in an ebb and flow again, and I think the offenses are starting to slow down a bit, and the defenses are catching up. I really do believe that because we're seeing it kind of in the NFL where the offenses are kind of boring at the moment, and then the defenses are what people are needing right now. They want bigger guys on the O line. They want those guys. You have to have your quarterback, sure, but they're figuring out, or in the wide receivers, like wide receivers are day one. My goodness, but I think
I
we're in
think
that ebb and flow. And it's look at here's a good one. Here's a great example for us. I liked the hurry up offense, but it's not a long-term solution because it made our players too tired. And I think that was impactful.
You need an offense that can, do multiple styles. Like you have a set hurry up, a set for burning clock, and a set for this. Yeah, this is you need different sets. Rather than like, hey, I can throw the ball. That's about it. He didn't have a good slow down offense that was effective.
Well, and let's be honest too. How do I want to say this? With Riley and stuff too, we won on raw talent alone. It was not because the players were developed. I mentioned that with Tulane last year, where I said I had concerns that our second, third string guys were not nearly as good.
So look at Rattler. Rattler did develop.
And
Taylor was that good before he went to. Taylor was that good when he was a junior in high school.
Yeah, it was. I don't necessarily blame Riley, but I do on that because at some point you have to be the coach. You can't be the friend on it. And I think that was impactful because he just did not want to basically ruffle feathers and make the players upset. Well, at some point, you got to get them to commit to the program with it and not just there to play the game with it because otherwise you're not going to win anything from it.
I think the same problems will happen at USC with the defense, not having players focused, not getting developed. But hell, look at freaking Kenny Brooks. He ain't got drafted. He should have been more developed.
Correct. And Kennedy is going to be a great asset. No different than Perry Winfrey.
He should have been more developed. He should have been, more developed. They should have played him more, not rookie here in 5 fucking seconds. So.
Yeah. I personally think that Riley at least had, not including the Georgia game with it, but he probably had a championship team at some point, but some of it was the defense was, and then he just didn't develop the players nearly as much as they need to. And now I also think too that I think he was in over his head being both the offensive coordinator and the head coach. I think that really showed.
But that was just the ego. Every time, because Josh McChristian, Casey Moore will ask them, hey, our OC, you get fucking offended and snap at him.
Yeah. It's in retrospect, we're going to gain more once we see what pans out at USC for him for it. But
I think the same problems go to arrive at USC. You have a physical team, a pretty over average physical football team. You can beat a Lincoln Riley team. We see that with Baylor, Georgia, Baylor, and Clemson.
Yeah.
Now I say, hey, Utah can still beat USC. Oregon, Daylight can still beat USC. Those guys know how to create. Those guys know how to develop.
Yeah. It's also too what it's gonna just kind of see at this point what was going to be if we'll get past his pride with it. And it's the same thing with Venables. This is his first coaching gig, and how's it going to pan out? I'm curious on it because half of it's going to be recruiting. The other half is, can he win on the field with it? I think he'll win on the field, but will it be different than what Riley had and stuff too? That's a wait and see too. Like, we're seeing great stuff, but he hasn't played a game either with it as the head coach with it. So we'll have to see. It's all going to be interesting for it. So, Austin, I want to thank you for joining me tonight. We hit the hour mark, so I think we're going to wrap up. Any final thoughts or anything from softball, Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher, video games, something? Any final thoughts?
I was hoping the Thunder draft Chet Holmgren with the second overall pick.
Oh, yeah. We'll talk about that really fast. The Thunder did get the second pick. Who do you think they're going to get?
Every mock draft has the first two. Every mock draft is say two players go 1-2. But
Yeah.
it's either Jabari Smith or Chet Holmgren. Personally, I want Chet Holmgren. He's 7'1", he's 2'3". I know he's scared. I know he's scared. But and I get how advanced training is now in the NBA and how look at guys like Giannis, Kevin Durant. It looked like he was 6 years scared as a twig. They all grew and got buff.
Yeah.
And Chet Holmgren. And
I was going to say, with the player that you want drafted, here's my question to you. Do you think he's going to be a franchise player? Is that going to be the new face of the Thunder? That's my question.
I think we need him to be. We already got SGA Josh Giddey. We need him to be a 2010 guy and get a couple blocks.
Yeah.
So you already got SGA Josh Giddey. Those are the franchise for the future.
So the players we need more of just filling up the roster versus being the faces?
I think he's in a third star to pair with Josh Giddey, SGA, ROA. Because Josh Giddey looks like a future. Josh Giddey might be the best passer in the NBA in a couple of years.
But it's going to take time for him to build up to that point with it as well. Probably like a year or two easily. So
I don't mind. Yeah, it's not Chet. I want Jabari Smith. 6'10". He can shoot threes, run the court. And then took that 12th pick.
Yeah, they do have the 12th pick with it too. So that's going to be interesting. Who they get too.
Like Chet Holmgren at 2 and Mark Williams at 12. We get good extra front court for the future as set in stone. I want to have if Jalen Duren falls at 12. I would love to have Jalen Duren just from being fully in Memphis.
Yeah, there was.
Because we got 17 more first-round picks in the next 8 years.
Yeah, because right now I'm looking at it where they're like for projections right now for the second pick for the Thunder would be like Jonathan Givony, Sam Vecchini, I think is the name of it. Again, I butcher names and I'm so.
What year you on?
This year. This is for their pick. Kevin O'Connor, Jeremy Wu, Brian Kalbrowski, and then Rick O'Donnell are like the ones that they think would be in the running for it for the second pick. And then for the 12th pick, they have pretty much the exact same guys. Like it's going to be one of those 7 guys or 6 guys. My bad.
A lot of the Bleacher Report has Thunder taking Chet Holmgren for Gonzaga.
I'm just very, very happy that the Thunder actually tanking did pan out for him versus last year. Last year was the worst case scenario for it, and they really needed.
Josh Giddey turned out pretty good.
But even then, it did not go intended like what they wanted it to because Gates was good, but they wanted it. The plan did not work out. They salvaged it, but it was not like this year where it's like, all right, it's all going according to plan. So anyway, Austin, thank you again for joining tonight. And I want to thank everybody who hopped on as well. I think next live stream is going to be in 2 weeks on June 5th. And I think that one we're going to talk about post Champ U BBQ. We'll talk about the softball stuff. Cool. And then I think baseball, depending on what happens with the tournament where OU will land and stuff as well. And as well as if we hear any recruiting information or anything at that point with it.
Watch out for Xavier Brown. He might be a guy who will make it.
Yeah. So. I hope so. We need all the help we can get. So, guys, I hope y'all have a good Memorial Day weekend. Stay safe this coming up weekend. I think it's going to be really hot if you're in Oklahoma, so definitely drink a lot of water.
It was hot last week. It was hot as shit last week.
I mowed Saturday and Sunday. Trust me, I know it was hot. It was humid.
When I went to visit my camp, you live in Tulsa? What part of Oklahoma you live in?
I live in Oklahoma City.
Oh, yeah.
It was hot and humid.
You ever been to Sapulpa?
Yeah. And it's hot. It's hot there, too.
I heard Camp Lockridge. It's a camp in Sapulpa.
Yeah, no, I'm not familiar with that one.
Anyway, that was my camp background in Oklahoma. I went there last week. Oh my god, I got sunburned like the first hour I was there.
Oh, that was me. But like I mentioned, I was mowing Saturday and Sunday. I was just drenching. And I got up at like 7 a.m. to get ready to go by 8
God damn,
to do
it's
it.
so
It's the
fucking hot.
humidity. Yeah, it's the damn humidity. And I'm just like, are you okay, Josh? Yeah, just water. We're good. Are you getting winded? Are you fat? Yes, I'm fat. But no, it's so dang humid. It was so hard to breathe with it. I'm like, man. And then I know thunderstorms and everything, but woo! I'm glad this weekend we got
worst
that.
part, like my kid has two like sites. There's like the children's camp, the preteen camp, and
Yeah.
the teenagers from like the teenagers camp.
Yeah.
The pathway to the teenage camp is a big ass. The road goes like downhill, uphill. So you're walking downhill, then there's a big steep ass climb all the way to the top in the burning heat.
Ugh. Giving me flashback vibes when I did a lot of camping and stuff. Ugh. Just hate
But lucky
it.
for me, I know every single shortcut, beaten path, little trails behind the whole entire place. So.
Yeah. It's just blasted through that heat.
That's one thing about camp. It's like, no matter how long it's been, you know everything about your camp, even the people there.
Yep. So, all right, buddy, I'm gonna let you go. Thanks for joining tonight, and I'll see everybody here in about 2 weeks ish. So everybody have a nice evening. Boomer Sooner, and there's only one. There we go.